Hello viewers, I remain Beatrice Christopher from Statistics Scribe. God's willing, in these tutorials, I'm going to explain the width attributes in defining variable attributes, okay? So, when we say width means the number of digits displayed for numerical values or the length of a string variable. I repeat again, width is the number of digits displayed for numerical values or the length of a string variable. I'd also like you to take note of the fact that the maximum width you can have of any variable is 40. Let's assume I have 41 here. You see? Please enter an integer between 1 and what? 40. So it cannot be more than 40. So here I have 8 as default. So now, in test scores here, we know that when it has to do with test scores, the maximum test score you can have in percentages, on the assumption that your test scores are in percentages, is 3. So leaving it as 8 is not bad, it's good, but I just want to confine it to 3. So in that case, I can actually click here using my pull down, take it down to 3. Okay, we have other ways. I'll show you other ways of doing that when I get to other variables. So meaning our test scores is having a width of 3. That's 3 digits, which is numbers. I want you to also take note of the fact that we said it has to be numerical values or the length of a string variable. So now under income too, let's assume I want my income to be 6 digits. Maybe I want to write in hundreds of thousands, so maybe I'll drop this to 6. The same thing. Then maybe my population also, I want it to take values of maybe 8. Okay, I want it to take values of 8, maybe tens of millions. So okay, let me leave it as 8 as the default value here. Now let's say again, maybe for speed, let's say speed of light in air. And let's say for speed, I want to leave it as 8. Okay. Then date, under date, I want my width to be 8. Then under tuition fees, let's say I want my tuition fees to be width of 6. That means maximum of hundreds of thousands. Then under money, here, the money too here, let's say I want it to be 8. Then surname, maybe should be 11. Then admission number, I want it to be maximum of 4 digits. Then I'll drop it maybe to 4, as you can see. Now I said I was going to show you another way of changing these numbers. Let's say this 8, you want to change it here, you double click and edit. Then here you can type in, maybe if you want it to be 4, you click, you see it's 4. Let me take it back to 8. So you can actually use any method of your choice, okay? The next thing I'd like you to take note is the fact that the width attributes, that means the width count, the values here, are applicable mostly to the date type, string type, as well as restricted numeric type, okay? So, but for others, most times it's immaterial. In this case, now let me explain why I said it's immaterial. Now observe here my test scores, I have 3 digits. So let's assume I have a test score. Now I'm switching to my data view. As you can see, you can toggle around by clicking, or Command T for Mac users and Control T for PC users. So here under test score, remember my test scores, the width count is 3. But let's assume someone scored 2000 as his score. You see, it contained it 2000. Meanwhile, it's not supposed to contain it because this is 3. Can you see it? That's why I said it is only applicable mostly to date, restricted, numeric, as well as string. Now look at income. I have 6. Now I'm going to income. I'm typing income. Let me just use numbers to be fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is where it's supposed to stop, but let me add it up to 7 and 8. Observe, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It contained more than the width count. Can you see it? Then for population, which is dots, the previous one was comma and it contained. The next one is dot, 8. Now let's see. It will be more than 8. Now let's see. Let's assume I have 250 million, a population of 250 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You see, this is 250 million. You see, let me extend the column. You see, it contained it. Can you see it? 250 million. And this is 3 digit, 3 digit, 3 digit, 9 plus the 2 periods, which is 11. Can you see it? It contained 11, which is supposed to be maximum of 8. Now, the next thing is speed, which is 8. Now, let's go back. And the speed here, you can see it's scientific notation. So I'm going to speed here. Now, I have 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 zeros. Observe what will happen. 3.00 times 10 to the power of 10. Can you see it? And meanwhile, the value it's supposed to take, the maximum is supposed to be what? 8. But it took that. You see why I said it's only applicable to data? You see why I said it's only applicable to date, restricted, numeric, as well as strings? So now let's check again. For date, I have 8. Observe. The format I use for my date is the day, month, and year. So let's assume on the 1st of January, I will use a period like I selected previously. 1st of January, 2022. You see, it contained it. But observed, when I typed 2022, it did not show the previous one I typed because it can contain maximum of what? 8. It's restricted. So now this is clear. It means it's applicable here. Then for tuition fees, we have 6 as our width count. So tuition fees, let's assume I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's supposed to cut down at 6, but it won't because it does not apply to 8 restrictively. So observe now. By extension, you see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, stuffs like that. So you see it's not applicable. Then the next thing I have is money. And the width count here we have is what? 8. So quickly, let's go to where we have our money. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm even adding it. Now, if you observe here, it contained 9 numbers here. This means that this is also not applicable in most cases. So let's go back again. The next thing we have is surname, and it's a string variable. So if you observe here is 11, it means it can contain maximum of 11 characters, okay? This is applicable in this case. Now let's see. Let's say we want to write a name that is higher. Let's say we're typing, say, to Christophorus. You see, it's telling me I can't. This is an error. So it's telling me that it is already at its peak. That means 11. When you count all this, you see you have 11 characters, okay? So this is applicable here. So quickly, the next thing we have is admission number. Let me expand the column. And this is a restricted numeric. The number here is 4. So here we're going to have 4. Now, here, if it is more than 4, it won't contain. It will pad it, like I said previously. So let's assume if I type 1, you won't see 1, you will see 0, 0, 0, 1. Because it has leading zeros since it's not up to the number of digits. Can you see it? Now, let's say I type in something like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It won't. Observe what it will pad. It will pad it. Can you see it's reading the numbers from the right to the left? So now, as you can see here, what is there is 2, 3, 4, 5 because it can only contain 4 numbers, okay? That takes us to explaining all these variable types. So here, it means that the numeric here, the comma, the dot, the scientific notation, the dollar, the custom currency, all are not restricted when it comes to the width count. Meanwhile, on the other hand, dates, string, and restricted numeric are so important. That means the width count are meaningful, okay? I hope you like this video. Kindly like, share, and subscribe. Hit on the notification bell for more updates. Love you.